BooTube, I am so sorry. I really am. I know not many people watch me anyway, but it's like, I feel bad. It's been a while. Granted, I did upload some videos to this channel and my first one, which is a gaming one. And, but I have not had any chance to really record any reaction rants due to not really busy schedule, but something was always not really a busy schedule, not really interfering. It's just stuff just came out of nowhere that I had to do, and it prevented me from recording. But anyway, I'm gonna most likely be recording for Flash Season 3, Episode 10, which premiered January 24th of this week. The reason why I'm kind of late on all of them is because I actually forgot when all the DC shows were coming back. With the exception of, hang on, Supergirl. I did not know Supergirl's date coming back. I didn't even know Arrow's. I think the only one I knew was Flash, unless maybe Legends. Yeah, Flash and Legend was the only one that I knew what dates they're coming back, respectively. Which was like, Flash was January 24th, and I believe, that also went for Legends. But anyway, I only know their dates. I didn't know when Supergirl was coming back. I didn't know when Arrow was coming back. And so it kind of threw me off guard. And also the fact that Supergirl came back, premieres usually on the same day and time, which is Monday at 8. Which sucks because I already had a show that I love so much that premiered a few weeks beforehand on Freeform. And it also goes on at 8 on Mondays. And I'm like, you guys suck. So I had to make a decision whether to... I'm still continuing my reaction rants for Supergirl. There's no doubt in my mind. But, it will be... I will most likely show that video later than usual. Mainly because I'm gonna be playing catch-up. It's easier for me to rewatch Supergirl on the CW app than it is to watch my other show, Shadowhunters, on my Freeform app, because my Freeform app is not properly working. So I can't really miss Shadowhunters due to the fact that my Freeform app is not working and I can't watch it online. So it's easier for me to miss Supergirl, because I could always catch it on CW, because at least my CW app is working. But anyway, this will most likely be the Flash Season 3, Episode 10, titled Borrowing Problems from the Future, which premiered January 24th this week, and I'm already like 3 minutes, so let's start. Basically, we open up with Barry having nightmares about what he experienced. Remember, he witnessed Iris's murder, which happened to be the fact that he traveled to the future. Albeit briefly, he still traveled to the future, which I think like takes place either 4 or 6 months from their current timeline, and Iris gets murdered by Savitar, and apparently Barry's having nightmares about it, and there's this dude named Jared Murillo. I don't want to really get into who he is. I probably will do that later. But this guy named Jared Murillo. Now it's really actually bothering me. Hang on for a sec, guys. So, okay, I looked it up. Murillo, aka Plunder, is one in the comics known as one of Blacksmith's rogues. Blacksmith's rogues include Magenta, Plunder, Girder, and Murmur. We've seen Magenta. Remember Frankie? That one girl with the cool looking hair? In the comics, Frankie was actually a one-time girlfriend of Wally West. So, maybe we'll see Magenta again because Plunder's here. And they're both part of Blacksmith's rogues. But anyway, Plunder's an assassin from a mirror universe. And pretty much he's a counterpart to a police officer named Jared Murillo in the real world. So, I don't know if this is the real deal Jared, or it could be like a mirror image. I don't know. But anyway, he attempts a robbery and is confronted by Barry. But then as Barry confronts this guy, Plunder, he recalls the news report he saw in the future. And it said in that news report, when he visited the future, that around the time Iris got killed by Savitar, Jared Murillo, aka Plunder, was captured by the Flash after an attempt bank robbery. So he remembers that. He's like, oh my god, could this lead to Iris's murder, right? And because he's distracted by that, Murillo pretty much overpowers Barry with this super gun thing and escapes, right? After that happens, HR, he wants to launch his museum. He pretty much shows everyone what this museum is about, and he even has like a hologram Cisco tour guide and all that good stuff. But when he launches his museum, no one attends it, and I just feel so bad for HR because the look on his face is just sad. You want to feel bad for this guy, you really do. And I'm getting thirsty right now. Anyway, they end up having a second confrontation with Plunder, which unfortunately Wally intervenes and captures Murillo. He gains praise from everyone, the people, the team, except for Barry. And obviously Barry doesn't praise him because he thinks Wally interfering and capturing Murillo will lead to Iris's murder somehow, right? And because of that, he eventually reveals first to Iris. He takes Iris into what I call the Braille room. Remember Reverse Flash's future room thingy? He takes her there and pretty much shows her the future newspaper article thingy and tells her, it was you that wrote this, but ever since the future's changed, it's no longer you. And he tells her what he saw when he defeated Savitar with the Philosopher's Stone and the fact that she got murdered and all that stuff. And eventually, him and Iris decide to tell everybody else what he saw in the future. And with the exception of Joe, he told everyone not to tell Joe because he's like, remember when Wally was in danger with the whole him becoming Kid Flash, just Wally being in danger in general? We saw what Joe happened. He got reckless, right? And just imagine if he finds out that maybe like 4 to 6 months from now, Savitar comes back and murders Iris. He's gonna go bonkers, right? He's gonna do reckless things to prevent that. So he tells the entire team, with the exception of Joe, and tells them not to tell Joe because he doesn't want Joe to do something reckless to get himself hurt, right? And the team decides together to change the course of events in order to prevent Iris' death. And in order to do that, they wanted to access Barry's memory of when he went to the future. So they use Cisco, and so Cisco and Barry use Cisco's vibe powers to look at that future memory, and they're all looking at the news reports to see what happened around that time Iris was killed. And other stuff that was mentioned was Jared Murillo, Plunder, recently got captured by Flash after he attempted to rob a museum. Joe got some sort of award, I forgot, and Star Labs museum closes, which made HR even more sad. And also another news reveal from the future around the time Iris is murdered was apparently Caitlin became Killer Frost and she's still at large. So that's all the future events that they saw on the news report that they have to try to, change in order to prevent Iris' death. Because who knows, any of these could have triggered Iris' death somehow, right? And they also want to change it because they don't want Caitlin to become Killer Frost. And while that's happening, when they come back, they find out from Wally, who heard from his dad, that Plunder escaped. And so Barry decides to change the first event by letting Wally capture Plunder instead, because in the news report it said Flash, Barry, captured Murillo, right? So he's like, Wally, let's change the past now. You need to be a hero and save your sister. Your sister needs a hero. So Barry decides to let Wally capture Murillo besides him. And, it works out for the best because Wally ends up capturing him, defeating him himself. There's a good crowd that watches and starts cheering Kid Flash and all that stuff. The name's starting to grow on Kid Flash. I think it's really cute. And, in the beginning of the episode, when HR was showing, the hologram Cisco and what he did with the museum and everything, they were all skeptic, and Cisco did not want to help out in any way. Even when the hologram decided to go bonkers, he did not want to help. But, when no one attends HR's museum and hearing that news report about how Star Labs museum closes, I think they all felt bad for him, especially Cisco, because basically Cisco relaunched the museum. He fixed a hologram of himself and he relaunched the museum, starting with an exhibition strictly for elementary school students, figuring, bring in the elementary school students and they're gonna be like, oh, this is so cool, and then they're gonna tell their parents, and then the parents are gonna go, and then the parents will pretty much branch out from there, right? So, yeah, I thought that was really cute of the team, especially Cisco, to help out with HR's museum, make them feel important and wanted, which I thought was really, really cute. Anyway, Barry and Iris end up having a housewarming party, and everyone's there, they all get invited. HR actually gives Barry a pet turtle. I know that's irrelevant, but I think that's kind of cute. But Julian ends up coming over. Apparently he was invited too, and he shows up last, and Julian is actually persuaded by Caitlin, and apparently Barry, I think, but mainly Caitlin, to actually join the team, so they welcome him into Team Flash. So yay, Julian! Draco Malfoy on the team now, hey! But anyway, while that's all happening, they're all enjoying everything, having a blast. We pretty much cut out to a scene what looks like an alley, I think, maybe like an empty alleyway where a breach opens and a mysterious woman travels through it. Obviously, she's from another Earth, and apparently she has like a little hologram thing that shows HR's face. And apparently, wherever this lady came from, she came from another Earth, came through a breach. She's on Earth 1, and she's apparently searching for HR. So whoever this woman is, I'm actually highly curious. A lot of people are suggesting she might be from Earth 19. Like, there are some rumors that this mysterious lady that came through the breach at the end, who's looking for HR, they say that she's an Earth 19 version of Cisco, basically. They said that she's the Earth 19 version of Vibe. Earth 19 Vibe. And I think that's pretty cool. If that's actually legit, then that's actually kind of cool. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And I really do hope they could change the fate of both Iris and of Caitlin, because as you saw in the future news report, it said Killer Frost at large. So that means Caitlin either became Killer Frost and is at large somewhere, or maybe not. You never know, because if you guys remember in the comics, Caitlin Snow is not the only woman to hold the Killer Frost name. So it might be Caitlin, or it could be someone else from the comics that became Killer Frost too. It could be any other. I know there are 3 women that were Killer Frost. And Caitlin Snow was, I think, the 3rd person to become Killer Frost. I don't remember the name of the first lady I don't remember the names of the other 2. But Caitlin Snow, I think, was the 3rd person to become Killer Frost. She's either the 2nd or the 3rd, but I want to say she's the 3rd one. So I really hope they could change their fates. But anyway, that is my reaction rant to The Flash Season 3, Episode 10, titled Borrowing Problems from the Future. And I'm looking forward to the next episode, which is Episode 10, what's it titled? Dead or Alive. So, yeah. Looking forward to that. And see you guys for my reaction rant to Legends of Tomorrow, which premiered the same frickin' day. Bye, guys.